Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys, thems, and MAGA, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Thank you for the heart me's. Thank you for the heart me's. We got the 7-day yeet, but we back on our feet, ain't we? Topic today, which I believe everyone can see clearly. Yes, you can. Perfect. Get the Diddycrats. Get the grape publicans. Start with Donald Trump. For the party of we care about the kids, for the party of the evil pedophilic Clintons, then let's get them. There's a couple other people that may show up on that list, though. Where's this long-standing Epstein files, right? That was supposed to be released. Pam Bondi touted it around like it was supposed to be this next big thing. And then what did they release? Nothing. I don't know about you. I don't care what sides you're on. Weirdos and crooks need to get out of our government. Not just ones on the side that we disagree with. So, where's that energy from the Republican Party? Where's that energy from the Trump administration today? Simple. Any case, double tap that screen, everyone. Send your daily heart me's. You got to get back on the algorithm. Y'all know how it goes after you get the yeet. And I don't know why this person is spamming in my damn comment section. Stop that. Our co-host today will be Allie. Let me invite her up here. And Martina. Martina should be here in a couple of minutes. She was running some errands.
Diddy's innocent.
That's not what we're doing today. I did not mean to set that live goal, but that works too.
I think your microphone died, Hector. I mean, unalived.
Gotcha. You hearing me now?
Much better.
Yeah, I always forget to unplug and plug it back in. Once someone joins the panel, it disconnects for some reason. You better be a good boy for massa, of course. This is to talk about why the Republican Party can't seem to stand on business and get rid of grapists, sexual assaulters, and pedophiles. That's going to be the word we'll be using today. Pedophiles. So Trump supporters request up in the box. Let's have a conversation. October 28th.
So,
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
yeah, I did, but first, there's like a reverb on your mic. I can hear myself echoing. I think it's fixed now, though.
Should be fine, I think.
Yeah, all right, I heard a little bit of a reverb, but yeah, I voted for Trump. Very disappointed, though. Very disappointed.
What are you disappointed in?
I don't think his immigration stuff is as strict. I thought we were gonna get mass deportations. Now he's gonna bring in a bunch of H-1B visa people. I'm very sad. I do like how he's very isolationist now. That's good. I like that we're getting out of Europe because I don't want to be drafted and I don't want to die for Ukrainians.
Unalive.
Unalive.
No Ukrainian wars or Palestinian wars, for that matter, has had U.S. soldiers in combat. Not to mention, he's been pretty clear about what he wanted in regards to immigration from the jump. Do you believe that mass deportation equates to fixing our immigration system?
I think our immigration system's broken because we let in too many third
Need you
worlders.
to do a little bit of a better job at answering direct questions. Do you think
Oh,
mass deportation equates to a better immigration system?
yeah. Yeah, I do think that.
You do realize that deporting a bunch of brown people who are in this country doesn't close the hole that we would have in the border.
Well, even better, Hector. Can you name me another country that does mass deportations and it's helped their immigration system?
Not one.
I don't know. I just don't like when I go into my downtown area. It's all foreigners there. It's like this is our nation was built by Europeans. I don't understand why I have to.
This nation
Generations
was
of my
built by
family
who?
built by Europeans, built by
No, try
whites.
again.
It was built by Europeans. I don't know. Blacks picking cotton in the South doesn't really build cities.
Here's what we're not going to do. It is 2025, not 1738. We are not out here saying blacks. It's weird. Secondly, tell me you don't know your history without telling me you don't know your
Who
history.
built
If
our
we're
cities
running
then?
off the conversation of Europeans built this country,
Who built our cities then? Who built
Europeans
this
shouldn't even
nation?
own this shit to begin with. You do understand that, right?
What? We shouldn't own this nation. My family put blood and soil in this nation. We shouldn't own it.
My family
Oh,
was
yeah.
born on this soil, and then your European people came and gave all of my people diseases and unalived them and raped them. So your family came here illegally through
Your
Ellis
people built
Island.
nothing in this continent. Your people built nothing in the United States.
Hello?
What do you mean, you zip it? Not ready to talk to you yet. So,
Natives, Indians, whatever you want to call them, they didn't.
ladies and gentlemen, we have a white nationalist up on the panel. So, would you like to tell me what fuck do you think this person gives about getting rid of pedophiles in our government, of getting rid of
All the
actual
pedophiles are
corruption in our
Jewish in our
government?
government.
If you
All the pedophiles are Jewish.
wow,
Hey,
gotcha.
that's
So,
not
like I
nice.
said, I'm not fucking ready to talk to you yet. So we're off to a great start. We had a white nationalist on our panel. We don't platform that shit here. And an anti-Semite. So,
What's
Trope,
your opinion on
did you vote
Israel?
for Donald Trump?
I didn't vote, but what's your opinion on Israel?
So you think I give a shit about what you have to say?
And no vote, no voice. Sorry.
I don't understand why you guys have all this mouth to talk about politics when you didn't participate. That's like not going to the fucking game, playing in the game, and then complaining about how everyone else cost you the win. You wasn't there, my boy. Barbara, did you vote for Donald Trump? Barbara, did you vote for Donald Trump? I'll give you 10 seconds to respond. 10, 9,
I actually voted
8,
for Jill Stein.
7. What state are you in? That works. Rando, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
Great. Where are the Epstein files?
I mean, do you want me to talk about immigration or not? Because I'm an immigrant myself. I voted for Trump because I want immigration to be better, and I agree with the guy before you that
Well,
the H-1B.
immigration was the last conversation. It didn't match up with the background that I have here. We can talk about that in a second. Let's start with where are the Epstein files? Thank you, Emmy.
Well, I mean, he just got started. You got to give him some time. It just doesn't doesn't
So
work like that.
no, I don't think I will, because they did give us a time, and it was last Thursday or Friday. Excuse me,
Is that why you voted for
Friday.
Trump? Because I know Biden didn't do shit about Epstein.
Sorry, you're not going to be able to use the excuse that Donald Trump hasn't enough time when supposedly Doge has found billions of fraud in our government, but you're telling me that he can't release the Diddy files, which takes all of how many seconds?
First off, the Diddy files can't be released because it's still
Or, I'm sorry, the
they're
Epstein
still in court.
files.
It's still in
The
court.
Epstein files. I misspoke. Why can't you release the Epstein files if they're able to find all these billions of dollars of fraud, but yet it's so hard to release these files?
He's the one who made that a campaign issue. I mean, you do realize that.
No,
I mean,
he's actually not.
yeah.
The campaign issue that he made was releasing the MLK and the JFK files. When he was directly asked about the Epstein files, he was like, I don't know about that one. That one can mess up people's lives, blah, blah, blah. But Pam Bondi got in there and used it as a talking point to ramp up the Republican Party and get them excited for some exiting of corruption. And then they released nothing. And again, she already gave us a date.
Okay, I give it to you on the Epstein files. He's not done a great job. Okay, is that what you want to hear?
Why do you think he won't release those files? Why do you think he was hesitant to do so to begin with?
I don't think he's hesitant. I think that he just got his attorney general confirmed like a couple weeks ago.
So again, I don't think you heard the part where I said that he quite literally said he was iffy on releasing the files, not a direct quote, but if you saw the interview, you'd know what I'm talking about. And then Pam Bondi gave us a date. And thank you, Amanda. The majority of it was redacted. So why do you think Donald Trump, the president of Drain the Swamp, doesn't want to release files that will do the same thing?
Maybe because Bill Clinton is his friend and probably Bill's name's in there and Bill Gates' name in there. Who
Yeah,
knows?
let's play with that.
Yeah.
Let's play with that for a second. Everyone remember when Hillary Clinton was enemy number one of the Republican Party, and then Donald Trump flip-flopped, and I mean flip-flopped. When he got in office, he said, I just thought it would be terrible. I just thought it would be terrible to go after President wife. What a horrible thing. She's fine. Fascinating shit.
Yeah, I think he fucked up in his first term. That's why he's trying to purge the federal government. He feels betrayed. Why do you think the first term was all like, hide and seek by the deep state? That's why he's going after Canada, because his USMC
Hide and seek for
crap.
the deep state?
Yeah, it was crap. MCA was a crap deal. That's why he's gutting it right now. He's gutting the federal
The
government.
deal that he started?
What's that?
The deal that he wanted?
Yeah, the deal that he got was negotiated by a bunch of people who clearly wrote op-eds after he lost the election, saying we had to kind of trick Trump to keep our status quo in place, and that's why this time
He created the USMCA. What op-ed are you talking about?
The one on the New York Times where the people said that Trump had to be stopped and they had to go through extreme measures to stop him, like get all the generals and
The New York Times. Hold on. What are you referencing specifically? What exactly is your claim?
This is 2021. This op-ed came on 2021. It was a bunch of anonymous people. Remember, first term there was a lot of anonymous people speaking to the media, right? This was like a bunch of anonymous people who said, "Look, we had to like pull out all stops to make sure Trump doesn't win in 2020." They literally put that.
No. We're talking about the USMCA. I don't know why you're going to the election.
The USMCA.
What was your claim? What was your claim with the USMCA? Because if you keep saying it's a shit deal, I'm just going to keep reiterating to you that was Trump's.
Yeah, I agree. He fucked up. That's why he's making amends. This is the real Trump presidency, the first time. Last time was just like a really bad show, and COVID was like awful. The COVID response, like the lockdowns, Fauci not putting Fauci in his place, all that is like crap. Trump didn't do shit. He didn't do nothing.
While I can appreciate that you're one of the few maggots that will actually acknowledge the fact that he was a worthless president the first time around, this doesn't help your intelligence or reputation on this panel because you voted for him based off that shit reputation.
Immigration.
Great. Let's talk about that. What is your issue?
Here's my issue with you, right?
Yeah.
That you're saying that Donald Trump's first term was just all bad, blah, blah, blah. He literally had control of the House and the Senate for his first 2 years. So why didn't he pass an immigration policy then?
Yeah, you don't need to pass anything. All you need to do is enforcement. There's no passing. This whole thing about liberals like get a bipartisan stuff so we can, do backdoor amnesty. No, we don't need no bill.
It's dictatorship.
I'll tell you the things that Trump
what you're talking about right now is a dictatorship. It has to get passed through the House and the Senate. He cannot just simply tell people what to do and delegate. He has no authority to actually make legislation like law for the whole country. The only way to make legislation is through the executive branch.
Real quick, can I get some W's for African Night in the Live? I think this is his first time watching me. I was just listening to him over in Swish's Live. Appreciate you coming in, sir. I've seen a couple of your lives at this point, never paneled up. Thank you for your support. Back to you, Ellie.
The border crossings are down 94%. They're down to like 200 a day, and I think they're going down every day. So almost nobody's crossing the border now.
They've been decreasing since Biden, so.
Yeah, but Biden's numbers were a lot more. In December, there was 49,000, 27,000.
Another point, Grady Reddick 1, we do not use slurs in this chat. I don't care if it's for Trump supporters. So we're not going to be calling people Trump, T-A-R-D-S. Don't do that again. Go ahead, yo.
So what policy did Trump pass that caused
thank you, Mel,
encounters to go down so much?
Okay, I can give you the answers. First is he ended the CBP-1 app, which is amazing. He ended TPS for like Haitians, Ukrainians, Venezuelans.
So
that's
let's do one point at a time. In regards to that app, first off, it was literally started under his administration.
I told you his first admin was shit. Like,
got you. Well, adding context, so it started under his administration, and all it did was provide a smoother, streamlined process for legal migration in this country.
I don't agree with that.
That's all that it did. You don't agree with legal migration in this country?
No, I think first off, asylum.
You're a migrant. You're a migrant. You legally migrated here. So how do you not agree with legal migration?
Okay, I can explain it if you give me a chance. You guys are just attacking me and asking me 5
No
questions.
one's attacking you. We're asking questions.
Okay,
Do you
so
feel
first,
attacked right now?
no, I don't feel attacked. I can answer, but I just want to
But
speak.
you said you felt attacked. I thought you
Okay.
guys were supposed to have very thick skin.
Yeah, I have thick skin.
Great.
Look, I
Then
came,
use it.
I
Go
came,
ahead.
I came, I came from a shithole country called India. It was shithole. I came here in '97 when I was a
We
kid.
call
My
in
dad,
India a shithole country now?
India is shithole,
That
and
is
that's why
America's biggest fucking trade partner, my guy.
it's not. China is America's biggest trade partner.
I
Anyway,
believe it's. Hold
coming
on.
back again. See, you don't let me finish, man.
Go ahead.
It's like so hard. Like, how can I keep the thought in my head when you keep talking over me? I don't
Say your
understand.
fucking point. You just keep saying a bunch of things
Okay,
that
so
make
I
me
came
go,
here in
huh?
19.
But go ahead.
Okay, came here in '97. My dad came here on H-1B visa, right? Tech visa, and we got a green card in the U.S. A lot of my cousins came here to study in the U.S. They went to nice schools like University of Michigan and Ohio State. They couldn't get their F1, they couldn't get the H-1B visa, so they went back home. I know a couple of my cousins who came here from India to study, and then they couldn't get their H-1B, so one works for Google in New Zealand, another one works out of in London for Goldman Sachs, but they didn't stay back in America and just violate the law and say, "Oh, it's my birthright." They applied, they couldn't get it, so they left. They went to another place.
There's no
This
one
whole
going, hey.
and secondly, there's tons of
So,
Indian immigrants coming with
got
illegal,
you. So guess
uneducated
what?
family
If someone said it's their, quote, birthright, it's because of the 14th Amendment that protects birthright citizenship. So if you have a problem with that, go argue with the Constitution, which last I
No,
checked is the
but
law
Trump's
of
not
the
anything for
land.
everybody.
Last
That's
I
not a free
checked, it's the
statement.
law of the land. Secondly, I did just double check it
It's
here.
still the law of the land.
The U.S. is India's largest trade partner as of 2024, yet India ranks 10th in the list of U.S. trading partners for the same year. So largest, but for this year particularly, they rank 10th, but they are the largest.
No,
Right.
that's incorrect.
Okay, but anyway, look,
Then you need to refute
I'm
what I'm
giving you a
saying,
reason.
Shady.
Oh well, I'm happy to, just as soon as I can get 2 seconds to
Great.
You
speak.
guys don't
Go ahead and
understand.
do that. Give me a second to finish up here with Rando. So what is your issue with immigration specifically, and why do you
Yeah.
think Donald Trump is going to fix it?
Yes, I think Trump has already done a great job. He's closed down a bunch of consulates. He's fired immigration officers who
What
just
conflict, one at a time, what conflict has Donald Trump closed down?
consulates, like foreign
Conflict, that's
embassies.
what I
Yeah,
said.
visa processing. So we need to stop visa processing. We need to
My
stop
guy.
asylum.
I asked a simple question. It requires a very simple, direct answer. What conflict has he closed down?
He's closed down the Gaza war. He's closing down the Ukraine
The
war.
Gaza war is not closed down.
Yes, he closed it down.
You
know
do
that.
realize that the ceasefire agreement that they came
Yeah,
to under
Biden had in
Obama's,
the yeah,
I'm
the
still
Biden
talking,
made
under Joe Biden's administration, the
in May of
ceasefire
2024.
agreement that they came to was
May
being
2024.
threatened quite literally weekly. The first week, it was Netanyahu who said by that Friday, if they didn't have the hostages released, then fuck it. And then we had Donald Trump last week release the AI video of his plans for Trump Gaza. So what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Biden had a press conference where he was eating ice cream, where he said in the back in May of 2024 that he got a proposal that Israel had proposed. That's what he said on camera, and that press conference is on YouTube. And he said that it's going to be done by Monday. It May, June, July, August, September. There was an uncommitted movement in
When
Michigan.
did he say it was going to be done by Monday? Because I remember that
He
is
said
when
that
this
on
last
YouTube
ceasefire
interview.
deal, this
I can
particular
play for you.
ceasefire, please find it. Thank you. But I
Yeah,
recall
I
what you're talking about because that's when the current ceasefire agreement that they came to, that's when it started. And that's the same one that they worked on up until the last days of his administration. Trump sent
that's
one
not true.
guy.
That's
Trump
not
said
true.
one guy.
Uncommitted. Literally told Biden to get the ceasefire, and
Really tired of all your over talking. Again, find your clip, and I'm going to finish. He sent one guy, and if I'm not mistaken, his name is Steve Wilcock. Let me double check here. Witkoff. Steve Witkoff with the United States envoys in the Middle East. He sent one guy along, and then you think he gets to claim the ceasefire deal that the Biden-Harris administration was working on for the last couple
Witkoff called
months.
BB and he said, "Hey BB, you're gonna come in on Saturday and meet me." And BB said, "No, it's a Sabbath." He said, "Oh really?" He gave him some nice profanities. BB showed up on Saturday. That's how a president behaves, by the way. That's why we love Trump. And I want Trump in 2028.
I'm sorry,
well.
did I not just ask you to find the clip where Biden said in May that by Friday we're going to have this done? Go find that.
I'm finding the clip right now. Hold
Great, then zip it. Shady, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did.
What was your point of contention with India being the trade partner, the largest?
So our largest trade partner is actually Canada.
Based off
By
of
a
what
long
metric?
shot. Based off of both imports and exports in $1 billion. So we export about $350 billion a year to Canada and import about $412 billion a year of product in from Canada. When it comes to India, we only import about $87 billion worth of product, and we only export about $41 billion of product. So India ranks about number 8 or 9 for us on trade partners.
Yeah, it's in the 10 when we look at U.S. trading, but it said
You want the
particularly
clip?
here,
I have the
particularly
clip
here in
ready.
2024.
Sorry,
Then wait a
six,
second.
one,
God
two.
damn it, I know you hear me talking. So I see here, this is February 11th, 2025. As of 2024, there was a 1.29.2 billion in trade. And then I have to double check how does this ranking work? Because it's saying here, right?
It's total trade, so that includes imports, exports.
Yeah, so China has recently overtaken the U.S. to become India's largest trading partner. Okay, so this metrics used specifically is different. Got you. Stand corrected.
Yeah, so it goes Canada, Mexico, China, Japan, Germany, South Korea, then India, then the UK, Taiwan, and Vietnam. Those are our top 10.
Boom. Got you. All right. Rando, play your clip.
My car. This is Feb 2024.
I hope by the beginning of the weekend. I mean, the end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. We're not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
You know, there's a monumental fucking difference between my hope is by next Monday we'll have a ceasefire and then a bunch of different metrics that took place and hiccups led this to go on for a couple more months, right?
Well, we thank those hiccups because Kamala lost Michigan, and that's the greatest thing that was. We thank Bibi for that. We thank him. Kamala, that
Kamala
Indian woman,
Harris
lost.
again. So
Yeah,
first off,
yeah.
your claim was incorrect. Biden didn't step on there talking about we're going to have this done by this date the way that you thought. He said their hope was.
Monday,
and if we are to go by that same logic, let's talk about all the things Donald Trump said he was going to do in a certain time frame. Like day one, have the Ukraine-Russia issue ended? No, the fuck it wasn't. Not November 5th when he won the election, or the 6th specifically, and not January the 20th when he was inaugurated. So let's use different metrics to rate our presidents. How about that?
Yeah, I'm happy that he didn't end it. I'm happy he didn't get the ceasefire because the election would have been much closer. I'm happy. I thank Biden for that.
You're happy
Democrats
that Biden didn't get a ceasefire deal months ago because that helped Trump? What are you saying here?
Yeah, I'm happy it helped Trump because I couldn't stand.
So let me get this straight. You wanted more suffering just so your guy could win.
Well, your guy couldn't deliver the ceasefire. So
yes or no? Yes or no? Did you want more suffering just so your guy could win?
I don't want more suffering.
That's quite literally what you just said. You are happy that the previous president did not get the ceasefire in the time frame that most people wanted so that Trump could take the win.
He said that's what happened. Okay.
And you said you're glad it happened.
I'm saying I'm glad that Trump won. That's why I voted for him. I'm voting for Trump. What do you think?
Shady.
I want Biden to win?
Shady, get the Diddycrats, get the great Republicans, start with Trump. Do you agree or disagree?
Sorry, what was your question? I apologize. I was looking
the
at
background. Do you agree or disagree?
Get the Republicans, start with
great
Trump. I don't necessarily agree completely with that. I'm all for putting sexual abusers, sexual assaulters who are found criminally liable behind bars. I don't believe, based off of
thank you, Didi.
E. Jean Carroll trial, I do not believe that Donald Trump raped that woman, Noah.
Grape. Can't say that word on here. First and foremost, the full background says get the Diddycrats, get the great Republicans, start with Trump. It's a weird thing to not fully agree with.
Well, I was saying I don't agree with starting with Trump. I'm fine with getting anybody else that's related.
What's the difference between criminally liable and civilly liable?
It's a huge difference. Criminally liable means that there is probable cause to believe that you actually committed a crime.
Probable cause is also used in civil cases.
No, it's not. Civil
Literally
has a
is.
It is.
Because
civil
you
has
have
a-
to have probable cause to come to the assessment that you are more likely than not to have committed said crime.
There's only
So-
one distinct difference between criminal court and civil court.
Correct. I'm waiting for him to tell me.
Sorry, go ahead. She was speaking. I didn't want to interrupt her.
Well, I was asking you the question.
I'm just clarifying for you that there's only one distinct difference between criminal court and civil court, so we'll wait for your answer.
So in criminal court, you have to have probable cause with the preponderance of the evidence, right? Civil court, it's basically you have to have burden of proof. It's a huge difference between the two. So in civil cases, it's the preponderance of the evidence. In criminal court, you have to have probable cause, unreasonable doubt.
So the preponderance of the
No
evidence
reasonable
would
doubt.
lead to probable cause, because if you had no evidence, there would be no cause that would be probable.
Preponderance of the evidence is a lower standard of proof than clear and convincing evidence, which is what is required in the criminal court case. The preponderance of evidence is a much lower standard of proof. That's why O.J. Simpson was not found guilty on the criminal side for the unaliving of his ex-wife and her boyfriend, but because the lower standard of proof in civil court cases exists, he was found civilly liable for their deaths. There is a vast difference.
The problem with what you're saying and the quote lower standard of proof is that the majority of rape cases everywhere are lower standards of proof, because it can be very hard to prove that men have been taking women the amount that they have against their will. Hence why the majority of those cases are civil to begin with.
And for the record, women also can be rapists. Women can also.
Are we talking about women right now? Are we talking about Trump?
Well, I'm just saying you got to correct yourself.
I find it fascinating how every single time we have this conversation, you always have to go, but women. Where the fuck are we supposed to get some accountability in this country if you always have to point the finger at other people? 92%. 92% are men. You know that, right?
I'm very well aware of it. I investigated it.
Great. Oh, you investigated it. What was your job?
I was an SVU detective.
You were an SVU detective
in my state.
Fucking A. So you an SVU detective and you think it's okay to point out how women do it too?
No,
and the conversation that we're having is about men and Donald Trump?
No, the conversation isn't about men or Donald Trump. Are you saying that only Democrats?
We were talking about Trump's case, were we not?
Are we? No, your prompt says the Democrats and the great publicans.
And then we were talking about Trump's case here specifically. This was your point of contention.
I do not feel that there was enough evidence in her case.
Can you name a piece of evidence used in the case?
Can you?
Yes. I asked you the question. So what is it?
She had 2 witnesses that she supposedly
11
gave statements to. No,
wrong already. It was 11.
2 main witnesses that she supposedly relayed.
Who were the 2 main witnesses?
I don't recall their names. I watched the trial. There was not enough evidence.
You were a fucking detective? You got to do better with your memory, my guy.
Had that been presented in court. Sorry, my dog's barking. Someone running behind my house.
I'd bark at you too.
Oh, here we go. So, anyways. What else? What
there were
what else?
11 witnesses.
It was based upon the testimony of 2.
No, it was not based off the testimony of 2. If you want to say 2 witnesses specifically carried the case, that's a different conversation. But there were 11 witnesses, one of them being the employees who worked at the store, another one being a manager at the time to go over the store hours and confirm the dates, the cameras, the processes, whether the door was locked or not. Couple other things, my guy.
There was 0 physical evidence to support her allegations. None. No eyewitness testimony.
What physical evidence did you need?
Well, in most sexual assault
cases. Did you need someone to be recording the assault for you to believe it?
There's a wide variety of physical evidence that can exist in a sexual assault case. DNA.
Obviously, there's a wide variety, but what did you need to believe her?
Physical evidence.
I'm sorry, I'm pausing him because he keeps saying it in full, like he's trying to get this live taken down, as well as he's just like misrepresenting issues generally. But could
That's
we
false.
could we be in line with TikTok terms of service, please?
What would you prefer that I utilize? I'm happy to.
Say
Okay.
A.
Essay.
sexual assault, sexual abuse, great. We just like to throw other letters in there so the algorithm doesn't fuck us.
Perfect. I'm happy to do that.
Great.
If you were a detective, I am deeply concerned.
I don't really care if you're deeply concerned or not. I'm a highly decorated detective.
We know.
In fact, after being a detective, I ran the unit for a number of years.
Do the police oftentimes re-traumatize victims of SA?
It depends on the approach that you utilize in your investigation. My detectives don't utilize that approach that was used in the past. We use a victim-centered, trauma-informed.
Nonprofit do you most frequently coordinate with to understand how to improve the system?
We actually don't work with a ton of nonprofits in my state because we have victim advocates that work at our department that handle a lot of that stuff with our victims.
You have advocates. Okay, so you, as a person who is an SVU detective, have not worked with
I have, but
any
we primarily
victims' rights organizations or like major nonprofits that study this problem?
So in my state, we do work with Grape Recovery, which is an organization, but most of that stuff is handled by the advocates. We have full-time advocates that work with our investigators.
Thank you, Naquan.
To help get our victims the best assistance throughout the entire process and beyond. So we have advocates involved from almost day one of taking the report.
And the advocates
they are present with us while the victim is being interviewed.
What organization do the advocates come from?
Our advocates have a variety of different backgrounds, but they are employed by our police department.
They're employed by your police department.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, 73.
So they work with victims of SA. They work with victims of DV. They work with, technically, they can work with any victim of violent crime.
No, I got
Thank you, Knight.
But listen, here's my problem. I got it. You don't seem to have paid any attention, though.
Thank you, Chris.
Like partnering with or informing yourself or being involved with any of these organizations.
Thank you, BD.
Better inform you in the way that you talk about these things. Because honestly, as somebody who is a survivor, hearing you talk about this in the way that you're talking about this, I know that there are multiple other people who are survivors who will hear the way that you're discussing this publicly online, who now have a deeper distrust in the police because of the way that you are talking about this. And people who are not yet survivors are listening to you say this and hearing a police officer, a detective, distrust both the court system and women. Right? You came up here and you say that a civil proceeding is not enough for you when it comes to this.
I said in this specific case.
I am still speaking. I am still speaking.
Hold on, everyone.
Survivors. Is this something that you also do while you're out on patrol? You just speak over survivors.
Watch how you talk to my co-host. I'm still waiting for you to answer my question, which is what evidence did you need to see to believe E. Jean Carroll was raped?
Well, first off, he wasn't found liable of rape. He was found liable of SA, which
he was found liable of forcibly penetrating a woman. The nuance of language within the law in New York State at the time classified as SA today, definitionally, somebody else.
Can I just ask a question?
Why did she come forward 40 years ago? You can shut the hell up. So hold on a second. Hold on, everyone. 1 second. So, Shady, you and I both know that penetrating someone against their will with an item or member is rape.
No, it's sodomy.
No.
I'm
It's
sorry. What?
Oh,
What?
I'm sorry. I can't.
Okay, that's actually incorrect. I mean, I don't know what state he lives in, but it at the time of the crime, it was not considered grape because they couldn't prove it was his member. So, but they changed the law eventually to the right thing, whereas basically if you penetrate them with anything, it is considered grape.
That's what it should have been to begin with.
And it should have been that way to begin with, but the states and the laws, marital grape just became, the loopholes are just closing, and that's just becoming illegal in some of these states. Shady. So I had a question for you real quick.
Yeah, let me do this.
Can I
Let me do
ask
this
a quick question?
Let me do this quick poll. I'm tired of you over talking people here. And you're disgusting because you wanted Trump to win just so he can run off of solving the war. You're pathetic. Quick poll, guys. Smiley face if penetrating someone forcefully against their will is grape. Frowny face if it's not. Smiley face if
Not based upon the
penetrating
law.
someone against their will is grape. Frowny face if it's not. I don't know about you, Shady, but that's the last fucking hill that I want to die on. Oh, listen, I didn't grape that woman. It was just sodomy. Are you fucking serious right now?
Why are you so angry? Why can't you talk like a grown adult?
I'm just passionate.
Somebody.
I'm sorry you don't like stern tones. Does that bother you?
Can we time out? Because we have an SVU detective who is now
That works too.
infantile. Like that was just, I'm sorry, that person's actively doing harm.
Well,
Anybody?
not only that, I'm a forensic nurse, and I was trying to ask him if grape kits prove grape, because as far as what he was looking for is evidence, we don't prove grape as a forensic nurse. We can, find evidence that supports what the victim is saying happened, but DNA does not mean consent.
No.
Injuries does not mean lack of consent.
I was on Dan Malik's live, and if you guys are not following Dan Malik, you absolutely should. And this guy came up there and said that the DNA that was found on E. Jean Carroll's was of 4 different people, so it would have never been Donald Trump. Do a little bit of digging, thank Dan Malik and his amazing team, and he was talking about contact DNA, from hugging, from touching clothes, from interaction with cashiers, and he tried to use that to say that Donald Trump didn't do it. Fucking contact DNA.
They tried to use touch DNA because he was denying ever even knowing her.
Correct.
Which they still had proof of that with photos, but it also proves that he was close enough to have touched her, too.
Tell me again that these people don't hate women?
Really?
Any case. Yes, Martina.
I brought up whoever this person is because they laughed at the statement that person is actively doing harm. So I'm sure that whoever this lion is a real delight.
Did he say he was a detective or SVU detective specifically?
He said specifically SVU.
Big fucking yikes. God is whatever. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
You know how to read?
I'm sorry. Is your name I voted for Donald Trump?
I did vote for Donald Trump, yes, but do you know how to read? It says God.
What did I need to read, buddy?
God is for. You just obviously don't know how to read. But anywho,
your full name wasn't showing up on the fucking panel. Not to mention, I asked you a question, and the answer to that question would not have been in your name. So if anyone's not reading the fucking room, it would be you. So you voted for Donald Trump. What the fuck was your point of contention in the comments, smart guy?
My point of contention is she's the only one that's actually bringing it up, and he's just talking about it. Like if you don't, she's the. I mean, if she was previously had issues with that, I'm sorry. If that's affecting you, then I'm sorry. That's how that's affecting you.
My name is Martina. You can speak to me. You don't have to speak to a man to speak to me. I'm in the room.
No, I know. I was speaking to you, Martina.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. He was asking what my point of contention was, so I'm referring back to you. So I wasn't speaking to him.
Mm-hmm.
So if it affects you personally, that's fine, but we don't need to worry about how everybody else is affected.
We do.
I'm sorry.
The world doesn't evolve. The world doesn't evolve around one person or everybody else's feelings.
Do you understand why I say that this person is actively doing harm?
And it's not just because of her. It's because
I'll give you a chance to explain.
Let me explain to you why I say he is actively doing harm. Because whether or not he's impersonating a detective, there's actually a serious issue with police actively re-traumatizing survivors and frequently disbelieving them, which leads less and less
Thank you,
women
Hopkins.
and men and theys and thems to report their assaults. We have studied extensively why it is that
W,
so
Chris.
victims of assault ever report. And the police and attitudes of the police is a large part of that. So whether or not he is an SVU detective or if he's impersonating one, regardless, he's continuing to create in the public eye an image of someone who disbelieves women and tends to be on the side of someone who has, in a civil court, been proven of assaulting someone. And so this deepens the distrust and again reduces the likelihood of someone reporting an assault, which increases the ability for people who assault
Thank you, Ria.
other people to get off scot-free in a world where only about 9% ever even see jail time.
And it's not just that. And I'm going to tell you, I personally had to speak with police to get them to take cases seriously. Because
Thank you, Let Me Be, for the
had a-
subscription. Appreciate that. Enjoy the perks. Go ahead, nurse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I had a patient who had a history of mental illness and reported frequently of something happening to her. Completely sounded normal until she started talking about what happened. And then you're like, she is a little bit
Thank
not
you, Aqua.
there. And let me tell you something. I went up to the police officers and I said, look, you got to take her seriously because they're more likely to be victimized if there is a history of mental illness because people aren't going to believe them and people are going to take advantage of them.
W, Henry. Let's go.
And when I said that the one time we don't take it seriously is the one time that that it happened and we let them get away with it. And at that point, I had two jurisdictions fighting over evidence because
Thank you, Dee Dee,
they
for
didn't
the
even think of
subscription.
that.
Great. So what about any of what the Fantastic Women just said you find funny?
I don't find it funny. I
Just
just
told
find
you were laughing in the comments.
I just find certain things funny on how we portray.
Thank you, Brooke.
How do I say it? I find things funny on how we betray people's feelings when we don't need to really worry about everyone else's feelings.
Betray people's feelings. I'm sorry. There's this thing called empathy, which you seem to lack, where if someone comes up on my panel and Grape apologizes, I may tend to care about how that can affect
When it's not just
the predominant base, which are women.
It's I believe it's the statistics are now 1 in 4 women are going to be essayed in their lifetime, and that is a lot of women. Okay, and a lot of people don't report. And we want to destigmatize reporting, and we want these people to come forward, not just because
I missed someone's
yes, they might
subscription.
actually catch, who did it, but also because it's about regaining their power and regaining control and part of their healing process. So we really need to destigmatize coming forward because it is a cathartic process for a lot of these people. And
Thank you, Mel.
when we have people who are, for example, an SVU detective saying how, well, it wasn't, it's not realistic because it was a civil case, then you're not taking into consideration that this was cathartic for E. Jean Carroll. I don't like everybody here refers to that interview where she said something, and if you actually listen to that interview, you can hear the pain in her voice when she talks about this. This hurt her, okay? And we need to listen to people and just be, as Hector said, empathetic to what people are going through. And this isn't uncommon.
Friendly reminder that the SVU detective didn't know how many witnesses were in the case. He couldn't name a single piece of evidence that was used. So that may be something harmful. How you think you can wave your position around to say that you have authority or knowledge on the case as you can't proceed to cite anything substantial in it. That's fucking dangerous.
Lala brought up a good point. She was saying how the resources that we offer our victims too are super important in their healing process as well. It's not just about coming in, like, do I try to make coming and getting your kit a little bit like part of the healing process? Yes, I want them to know they have control when they're with me and that they are back in control and that this is about them and what they need to heal. And but at the same time, it isn't just about that. It is a group effort on trying to destigmatize these things. And you might not know of women who have been hurt, but I can assure you, you have met people who have been SA'd. Like, it's just statistically speaking, you do know people.
Yeah. So,
can I just really quickly? I need you to again understand my statement was not about my feelings
thank you
at
for
all.
the gifts.
Cultural sentiment and a cultural problem. Let me ask you a question. Do you want people who assault other people to wind up in jail?
Am I okay to speak now? I'm sorry, I was trying to be.
She was asking you a question, so yeah.
Well, I didn't get to respond to her earlier because you interrupted.
Do you want
I
people who
wanted to respond to the lady,
wind up in
but you
jail?
interrupted, so that's why.
Then answer the question and respond.
People to wind up in jail?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that requires the people that they assault to feel comfortable coming forward to the police, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Queen.
Perhaps you didn't understand that societally we have a massive problem in terms of the way that the police treat women and are perceived by women. So
I understand police aren't perfect. Of course.
The active harm happening, right, isn't about, oh, you hurt somebody's feelings. P.S. How asinine to laugh at someone, even if it is just one survivor's feelings being hurt, right? But it's not about hurting people's feelings in a way that people are weak. It is about societally, we have a massive problem in the way that women are treated, and all survivors. To be honest, men also face a ton of stigma because they're now also dealing with a compromising of their manlyhood because they were attacked, right? Same women, now their virtue. Like, there are massive societal problems that work against all victims, and that person was actively adding to the problem. That is the active harm being done. Do you understand that now?
Yeah, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't hear him completely. So if I didn't understand him completely on how he was portraying it, and I said it and I commented that way, I should have thought about that a little more. And I'm sorry about that.
You need to understand sentiment and feelings of victims of crime matter.
No, yes, I understand.
When you come up here and anytime this topic comes up, you're laughing at anybody's feelings being hurt, you are adding to the problem that culturally the sentiment is against the victim.
Right, any victim.
Duh. Right. So, now, what is your response?
It's not a duh because you've said it's not a duh and you are more focused on certain things. So that's why I'm just saying.
What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, you wanted to be very specific on one gender when there's sexual assault cases on any side. So any victim should be heard, right? We agree any victim should be heard.
Hold on.
That officer was also, for the record, that SVU officer was
Hold on, everyone hold on. So I'm pretty sure I made it abundantly fucking clear that in the context of this conversation, we got to talking about Trump's case and the motherfucker to dance around the conversation and topic of Trump, because that's what you fuckers like to do, went to go to, and it happens to men too. No one up on this panel denied that it happens to men. But it is a talking point typically by these men's rights activists to deflect from their fucking accountability of holding grape culture in this country. 92 to 93% of men are the sexual assaulters in this country. So the nitpick at the 8%, we're not degrading the male victims of grape, obviously, but even then, it's fucking men. The majority, hey, shut up. The majority of men who are sexually assaulted in this country is by other men. So that's the problem with every time we have this conversation, somebody's got to go, but women.
But also that SVU detective was essentially saying that men can't be raped either. Because remember he said if it's not penetration or whatever, he said it wasn't like, it was sodomy or whatever.
Yeah.
And not grape.
Yes, exactly. Men as well. We're not saying it doesn't, but we're saying
Hi, Jackie. Let me do a quick introduction of you. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Me?
Yes.
Hell no.
Got you. I'm going to give God's disciple a chance to respond, then I'll let you have the floor.
Can I talk about what your actual prompt is, or is
Yeah, sure. If you want to do that, we'll do that. Jackie, say your piece, and then we'll go back to God's disciple, and then we'll probably do a restart, y'all.
What I was hearing was that somebody was saying, what about men out of sexual assault? Yes, we acknowledge they can also be a victim of assault, but we on a regular basis have to walk around looking, who's in the car, who's following us, what's going on. You guys can just get in a car and take off. I'm talking about regular white guy, gets in a car, takes off. Oh, nothing to worry about. But we have to worry. And people in minorities as well.
Thank you, Erica, for sending the 3 subscriptions. W, Erica. Go ahead, Jackie.
No, that was my point. That because of how often it happens to us, we want somebody to give a shit, to protect us, not keep taking our rights away, like everything that's said on Project 2025 that they want to do.
I do Uber at nights, and Friday night I was out and I picked up a terrified woman from a party because some weird fucker there got a little bit too comfortable with her, and she just was crying, and she was so thankful that I was there in time. And it just occurred to me in the about 3 years I've been doing Uber, 2 of which I even did for full time, that I've never once picked up a terrified man in an uncomfortable situation with any woman. Any case, what would you like to address with the prompt, if you can properly read it?
Well, I'm gonna just quickly reply to Jackie real quick, and then I'll say the prompt. So, Jackie, I do agree that it is more likely for a female to be attacked. I don't agree that it's not possible for a male to be attacked.
No one fucking said that.
I mean, it seemed like that's what was being said.
Then you have a fucking comprehension problem. Actually, I don't care what you have to say anymore. I'm so sick and tired of grape apologists. Get the fuck off my platform, bro.
I would like to quickly state, coming from Rain, 9 out of every 10 victims are female. Okay?
So guys, let's change up the scenario. Imagine you're in a relationship. You're having a conversation with your partner, and your partner does something you don't like. Let's say, I don't know, walks around your freshly mopped floors with their shoes on. That's crazy disrespectful. If y'all do that, y'all should get divorced. But anyways, walking around your freshly mopped floors with their Timbs on, okay? And you go, hey babe, I don't appreciate it when you mess up the floors that I just mopped walking around with Timbs on the floor. And then they go, but you don't wipe the counters after you get something in the fridge. What? That's not the point that we're making here. We can address that after this, but I am telling you this because it's a trigger of mine. I am telling you this because I want this relationship to work and I want it to be better. But if every fucking time you have something to add to the conversation and their thing is, but you, but this, but that, where the fuck are you supposed to get in that conversation? Where the fuck are you supposed to get in that relationship? Where the fuck are we supposed to get at a human race if our knee-jerk reaction to hearing these things is to get offended and point the finger? Particularly men, when we're having this conversation. The most violations I've ever gotten in my life is when we're talking about grape apologists. Fucking fascinating stuff. And I keep a record of this shit. I'll never forget the live that I held. 77 million people voted to uphold grape culture. 7 violations. 4 restarts. Because you guys get so fucking triggered when we're holding you accountable. Any cases, I think we're going to do a restart. Yeah, we're going to do a restart. Allie and Martina come back. We'll let Jackie and Nurse do some final thoughts before we do this real quick.